everybody, God bless. So new moon is about to end, and so I had this dream during the new moon. And what happened was I was at this school. It was like I was in spirit form and in physical form at the same time. So I had a locker that was really far from my other classrooms, and I knew that that was the same deal with everybody else who was in 9th grade or 10th grade. And in this dream, I was supposed to be going on to 11th grade the next year. So in spirit form, I was going around and telling people like, hey, don't worry, I've been through this before. So it was like my spirit form had been through it before. And I was encouraging everybody, and I was encouraging my flesh form as well. So, and I was saying like, don't worry, you know, and 11th grade and 12th grade is going to be completely different. Your locker is going to be like right next to your classrooms. It's going to be perfectly fine. So my flesh form, I had a knowing that in spirit I was doing this. Like I knew that. I was at my locker, and while I was there, I was in a flesh form. I was at my locker, and while I was there, I said to myself, I was thinking to myself, like, I can't get caught by the authority, because I knew there was something up with the authority people, and I didn't know exactly like what I was doing wrong. Even like in a dream, I was thinking like, I'm not really doing anything wrong, but I don't want to deal with them. I do not want to talk to them at all. And authority in this dream would be like the principals, the teachers, things like that. And I just knew like they would give me a hard time for being at my locker, when I guess I wasn't supposed to be at that locker at that time. I think it was supposed to be my locker for 11th grade, but like the school year hadn't started, or the school year was ending, something like that. Like, but I just knew I didn't want to deal with them. So I also had a knowing that I was supposed to be sharing my locker with someone, and I knew that the locker was disgustingly dirty. Like it was really messy. And I saw this locker, and I was like, well, you know, I need to organize this locker because I'm about to be sharing it with someone, and I need to organize it and prove to that person that, you know, I'm fine. I can organize, you know, that they can share a locker with me. And so I started organizing the locker and like that, and I got it all organized. And then this person that I was supposed to share it with, I knew it was a guy, and he was just like he changed his mind. And at first I wasn't like upset, but I was just like, wow, like I just did all this for you. And then as I said that in a dream, I was like, for you. And then I was thinking like, actually I could care less. That's how I was in dream. I was like, I could care less if you want to, you know, be in this locker with me or not, because actually I started off getting it cleaned up for you, but now I'm getting it cleaned up for me. Like it's cleaned up and it's very nice and real organized. And in the dream, I had took out everything out of the locker and reorganized it. I ended up throwing away things that were not useful. I remember saying that in dream, like, this is useless. This isn't useful. And I can't remember if there was things that were broken in there or not, but I really remember saying like, I do not need this. Like there was extra pencils in there or stuff like that. I was like, I don't need this. And I really organized it like it was like organized. I'm talking about like OCD organized. That was the end of the dream. So I just want to explain a little bit. So my mom said that she had a dream during one of the feasts. I think she said Passover, and it was showing her a locker as well. So having a locker is pretty symbolic. And she said that it represents my spiritual things in the spiritual realm. She said that when she had the locker dream, there was things that were missing because the devil took things from her. So this dream is representing that at first my spiritual locker was messy. It had things in there that wasn't necessary, like maybe things that the devil put in there. And so then I was getting it together, and it was like at first I was getting together for someone else. And to be honest with you guys, when I first got my relationship with God back on track, the main reason was because I had a daughter. Seriously, it was because of my daughter. I was like, okay, you know what, I have a daughter, I need to get right with God because I do not want her to get cursed. And then later on I was like, you know what, no, I need to get my life right with God for me. Like this is for me, because when I stand before Jesus, he gonna ask me why about me. Like he's not gonna ask me about my daughter. I think that's what that part was symbolic about, of me changing. And then I guess like the guy who was like, oh, you know what, never mind, I don't want to room up with you, maybe that was someone else in my life as well. So I think that part just represented two different things. Like the way that I was acting, getting it cleaned up for somebody else, I think that represented how I was in the beginning of my relationship with God. And then I think that guy actually did represent someone else in my life. Hey guys, so I just wanted to add this. So I just remembered, so at that part, so remember I was like, okay, this guy, I didn't really know what he represented. So I just remembered, it just came back into my spirit. So maybe about a year before Charity was born, maybe a little bit over that, I was dating this guy and he was supposedly a Christian. Yeah. Anyway, so at first I wasn't reading the Bible at all. And then I started reading the Bible and stuff like that because of him. And I think that's what the dream was telling me as well. I think it was like, I think that part literally meant so many different things. But I think that part was telling me as well that at first I was trying to get my relationship with God right because of him. And now I'm getting it right because of me. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in. I just remembered that. So I think that's what that was. But, and then the authorities being caught by them, because like in the dream, I was just like, they're just going to get on my case about anything. And honestly, that's in real life now. Like I really don't like dealing with authority people, because a lot of times when you're in the spirit of Christ and they see that light in you, they're just going to get on your case about anything. So I was just like, I just don't feel like dealing with it. And it's not like I was scared. I wasn't scared of them at all. I was literally thinking, I was like, if they approach me, it is what it is. Let me just tell them the truth. That's literally what I was saying. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm literally going to tell the truth of what I'm doing. So, and then me in the spiritual realm, like I have a friend in Christ. She told me that me and my sister came to her in the spiritual realm one day, encouraging her. And I think she said that happened to her twice, or it happened to her once. It happened to somebody else as well. So I can't entirely remember, but I vaguely remember it happening twice, of my spirit going around and encouraging people. So that happened. And then my spirit saying it's done this before. So that's pretty symbolic, and other things. Like if you follow my mom's channel, I think you like understand, but I don't feel led to like talk about that right now. Yeah, this is a pretty good dream. Definitely, you know, it's new moon, so that just like made it even more special because it's like a feast day. So yeah, I pray this encourages everybody, you know, get your spiritual doors fixed up. Oh yeah, and then also in the dream, I had a lot of room for more. Like once I got it all organized, I even looked in the dream, I was just like, wow, there's like a lot of room up in here. Because at first it was so packed, there was no room for anything because everything was just messy and unorganized. And that's what happens a lot of times when things are unorganized. It looks like it's full, and then when you go through it, it's just like it's not full anymore. So there's that. And then the physical aspect of that, because when I woke up from that dream, I also felt this in my spirit. So my daughter, she's over 1, and we still have a lot of things that in her closet area is all organized, but the drawers are not. Like I have things in her drawer since like we first moved in here, so that was like a year ago, you know. So definitely I need to go and organize that, and that's what I felt led in my spirit. Like this is also symbolic to that as well. Like once I organize that stuff, I'm gonna have a lot more room for things like that. So it's physically and a spiritual meaning. All right guys, God bless you all. Have a nice one.